Okay, I think I found my culprit with what shut me down. Let me just verify that. Okay, good. All right. Let's go back to where we were. Yeah, that was my culprit. Camera input turned off my whole stream. Uh oh. Okay, so I won't be seen there. Apparently, one of my cameras is not working well. Well, I'll put you here. All right, so I'm back. Got software issues with my camera. I guess when I upgraded the new OBS system, it doesn't like the fact that I have multiple cameras and it won't allow me to run. It won't allow me to run them. Anyway, where was my conversation headed? Yes, I'm the musician that other musicians back in my church days would not show chords, but I had the ability to hear chords in my head all the time, and I wanted to get it out in a sense. So the chord books and the basic music books assisted me where others would not. This setup that I do now is so that I could help the next person, or male or female, American or around the world, who is also finds themselves in that situation where they want to play music. It's in their head, and there's no local person, either by way of finances or skillful help, that wants to help them. I've been doing this since 1992 and 1999 when I was able to get online with AOL dial up. I flooded the internet with what we call MIDI files so that I could help musicians anywhere be able to at least navigate through the gospel music. Being never taught the Nashville system, as I said, I hear the conversation that if you want to learn to play gospel, you must play the number system. So this is why I'm delving in it in the way that I am as a research person. When I was a technician for the IBM Corporation, it was my job to get the manuals, delve into how a machine works, and then keep them running. Well, my personal job was, if I know how something works, I should know how it breaks. So when I'm looking at the Nashville system, getting my research and information, seeing that these are the chords that are assigned, there are more chords than the major Nashville system. They deal with those major chords. What about the seventh, the major sevenths, the diminished, the minor sixes? That's where I'm taking this now to be able to give my understanding as I take apart the theory, again, as I research it, of the Nashville chord system for those who are being instructed in the Nashville system, letting them know it doesn't always have to be a minor chord in chord two. It can be a major. It could be a major seventh. It could be a minor. Excuse me, that minor, uh, major seventh, and a seventh, which is what I was starting to write in. I said, well, let me stop doing that so that I may um, do that live online. Uh, don't know if we've got anyone else. Invasion, I know you're here. I don't see anyone else, but I'll keep going. If you have questions, please post them because I'm monitoring. I shut off all the cameras but one, and hopefully this one is still working. Lets me stay live. Should still work here also. Good. I'm still live here. Great. So back to what I was talking. Major seventh chords in the Nashville system have to change in order to stay a major seventh chord. So when you see the major seventh prompt, and let me highlight that because this is what I'm talking to. The one chord in a major seventh means just that, major. If you're going to do the number 2, where it's a minor chord in the Nashville system, if you want to use it as a major 7th chord, you have to use the major key, which means know the scale of that next chord. And I've always said that wherever the scale takes you, whatever those 7 notes are in that major scale, the minute you get to the next note, you have access to every chord in that scale also, not just the minor, but the major, and in this case, the major 7th chord. So at the 3, it's another minor chord according to the progressions in the Nashville system. But if you want to play a major 7th chord with the 3 note, 1, 2, 3, it has to revert from a minor to a major. See the scale. There's your 7th note, your major, and your 7th note to get that E major 7th. So you've now got, that's always been a very pretty sound. C major 7th, D major 7th, E major 7th. Now, the 4 chord, which is the F, believe it or not, stays within the family of the Nashville chords because it stays in a nice major mode. The notes, they're right there. C major 7th and F major 7th, the 1 and the 4, believe it or not, their fingering on your hand is the same way. You don't see my hands, but it's the same fingering. In my case, I'm using the thumb, index, middle, and the pinky. Thumb, index, middle, and pinky. Same fingering for that chord in that sense. Or, what do they call them? Perfect 4th? Yeah, perfect 4th. So there's nothing to change there. Just drop the chord down. When you go to the 5, which is the G, here you're going to have a change. You can't play you've got to look at the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the G major scale, the 7th note is an F sharp. So to get the G major 7th tone, and this is about tones, you have to play the 7th. Now, if we look at the song which I was using as the example, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord," do you want to start that song off with the root major 1 or with the major 7th? That doesn't sound right. Oh, give thanks. Kinda. It's like adding sugar to cereal. But it is a chord that is open to you to use. Now, as I was expressing, I think before we got chopped off of the other session, the bass note gentleman that says, well, how would you add the natural bass to it? Well, believe it or not, all of these chords and names and note names all have to work in harmony with each other, which means you can't throw there's no sound coming from your piano. Thank you. Looks like when I reset this, it reset everybody. Let's go in and reactivate. Huh. Okay. There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm looking right at it. I've got 2 prompts for 1 meter for my vocals, and I wasn't looking at the one for the keyboard. Thank you very much. Okay, here's what I was talking about. When you do the Nashville chords, again, hundreds of thousands of songs, and songs are still being written in that format. But when you begin to want to go to gospel, gospel is going to give you the opportunity to go to the other chord family members. Major is one family. That's what you just heard in the Nashville scale. Major can also be this family, all of majors. That's another family. But in the Nashville system, the 2 is not going to be a major. It's going to be a minor. These are the rules. And I actually covered that yesterday. Nashville system has rules. You're going to play all of an octave, all the notes, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Those are the Nashville rules. And I said gospel says fine. I like going outside the rules. I want to use a major 7th. In this case, Nashville will say, okay, I'll allow that. Why? Because I can at least still hear the rule chord. All you added was this. But when you go to the next minor, well, you want a major 7th there, not a minor 7th, which means you've got to change the F, sharp it, put it in a different key, so you can add the 7th. Now that takes you out of the Nashville rules, except for these 2 notes. This is when you have to develop your ear. And let me switch over to another prompt so you can see me. This is when you start to develop your ear. What do you hear? Move my camera around. As a musician learning, what chords are you hearing in songs? Because these tones will only assist you with the chords that are using the songs that are using them. Today's worship chords are using the 1, the 6, the 4, and the 5, part of the Nashville tone system. So whenever you hear a chord and the bass, if you hear the bass is in the 1, you can go to the 1. When you hear them go to the 6, the bass to the 6, there's the Nashville 6. Hear the bass go to the 4, that's the Nashville 4. When they go to the 5, that's the Nashville 5. Perfect for those songs that are built in that structure. And as I had said, one of my sessions planned is looking at all the songs that are using the Nashville chord system that are getting over 50 million views. We'll be actually listening to 10 seconds of those songs so that I can give you a session on why the songwriter started in the minor and why he went to the 4 and why they went to the 1 and why did they go to the 5. And I'll be able to deconstruct why that chord path works on that song and why another song would start in the 1 and would go to the 4, 5 and would go to the 6 and then end on the 4. Because music is subject to the person who is actually doing the writing. Melodies does matter because that determines which chord is going to be most effective in that learning. So again, back in the Nashville system, we're adding 7ths now, which means we've got to change notes. We got to change notes to the majors of those. The number 4 stays the same. We have to add a sharp in the G. When we get to the A, which is in the, take me back. Our 6th chord is a minor. In the Nashville system, that's fine. But if we want to add a 7th, we have to make it a major, which means we got to take the C. In this case, again, this is what the Chord app is calling it. Some may call that C sharp because you're raising the tone up a sharp. Chord app is written by a programmer. That's how they want to call it. If I were to change the Chord app key to A major, that would be a C sharp. So for those who are looking, yes, C sharp, and D flat, same note. Now we got to know that scale. There's number 7. We go back to the 5th, to the 3rd, and to the first. And then our last key is a diminished chord. That's how the tones of the keys of the piano broke down. But to do a B seventh chord, we now have to change our D, we'll call it E flat, D sharp for those who are technical. We also have to change our F to an F sharp to give us a major chord in B. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's a seventh note, our first, our third, and our fifth, which gives us a B major seventh. And that's where we are right now. Let me see. What scale do you suggest we play under the dominant chords? Well, I haven't got to the chords, dominant chords yet, and diminished chords, because there are so many. And I watched this on another guy teaching how you can learn all the different chord names from the C major scale, which I never knew until I saw someone teach that, where this is the major scale. This is the next scale name. This is the next scale. I gotta get the book for what these scales are called. All those scales played starting with the root in the next key up is the chord scale name. When I play diminished chords, because I understand what it sounds like, that's where I look for. I know a diminished chord is going to be right here. I know it's going to be sharp, flatting in the root, flatting the third, and flatting the fifth. No matter what key I'm in, flat the third and the fifth. What key I'm in, flat the third and the fifth. Whatever key I'm in, flat the third and the fifth. Because I've learned that theory, I don't even think about it. If I want to hear that sound, I know I'm going to be flat in those two keys. So wherever my thumb is in the conjunction of forming the chord, I know that the diminished is going to be. I can look at F sharp and know that's diminished. I can look at E major, I know that's diminished. Because I look for muscle memory, number one, and the tone. And it's just a matter of where I'm going to use it. Let's see, not over the dominant and diminished chords. When you get to the real piano theory, as I say, I didn't sit under an instructor, so I have to do research to find that for you. And if you could put it in the form of a question, I'll be sure to screen capture it and then go find out what the experts say. Or as I often say, if anyone who's on this live or who views this knows better than I do, you're free to comment, because we all can learn from each other. I'm learning the concept of the Nashville system. So we look back at our song, which was "Oh, Give Thanks Unto the Lord." We have our root note. Oh, give thanks unto the 5 3 3 5 6 3 2 5 3. We matched up a lyric with it. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. Now I'm was trained to look at notes on sheet music and not call out numbers, but call out note names. But the numbers work also if you're not certain of the note names. Then we looked at the Nashville chords. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. But we used the root, meaning the C being the bottom note, to determine what chord name we're going to be using. There are inversions. And thank God there are, because those inversions give us what I call alternate tones. So we don't have to do, oh, give. We can use this version of F. Thanks, We can use this version of the G, or the 5, to the, and go back to the root. Lord, versus, Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. Because I think we lock up musicians by telling them, oh, it has to be the root. The root has to be there. The root has to be there. The root has to be there. No, you have inversions. And when you learn inversions, you will find that your melody is in the inversion. Oh, give thanks, thanks, thanks unto the Lord. For we're going to do inversion of the A minor. He is good. There's our 2. Yes. And here's our inversion of the 5. He is. And back to the 1. Good. I love having melody at the top of all my chords. For those who learn, let me see. I messed that up because I was never taught that. I learned full chords being in an actual jazz band, melody at the top, and all your movement in the bottom. But in the spirit of the Nashville system, if I was going to talk to the Nashville setup, oh, oh, give thanks. That's how I look at the Nashville system. I've got the 4 in there. Unto the Lord. So now I'm in the Nashville system. I've omitted the basic Nashville chords, but I've added more. Oh, give thanks. Now, we didn't cover this yet. Oh, there it is. There's our major 7th, right? Right, there's our major 7th, which was one of the new chords that we just learned. Oh, give thanks. Sounds a lot pretty now. Unto. Now, we didn't learn this chord yet. The Lord. So the more chords that you add to your palette and you listen to how they sound. Bum, 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 bum. Gee, can I use that? Thanks. Oh, that sounds so pretty. Versus, imagine you're adding the 7th chord in there. Gives it a nice, and with a nice bass at the bottom. And we haven't learned the 7th chord yet. To the Lord. Now, if we kept going 4, there's our minor. Versus, we'll keep it to the minor on the 2. Yes, and we'll keep it straight G on the 5. He is good. But as you begin to strengthen your chord palette with more chords, with not just the major 7s, that wouldn't fit. That does fit. That doesn't fit. That doesn't fit. That might fit. Uh-oh. Not the 7th, but just the root. Why? Because if you learn the 7th, take off the 7th, now use the root. It does give you, so where I want to use, alternate chords, alternatives. I don't have to go minor. I can go major. I don't have to go F7. I can go F major 7th as long as it follows the contour of the melody. Now, I wanted to bring in, did anyone else join us? We have 5 that is watching. Sorry, the stream ended earlier. Software issues along with the cameras. So we missed some people that have not come back yet. I did alert them that we did start another stream. I wanted to change the song to show another use for the Nashville system in a song I believe um, embodies the Nashville system. Can you apply it to every song? Yes and no. As I shown you there, you can do that one song and the Nashville chords in the number system chords, the 1, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the sixth, seventh chord can get you through the song. It's when you want to now add to that tone, and can you, with your hearing, articulate that tone. If you've never heard what a major seventh chord sound like, just telling you in the one play the major seventh, you would be confused. Well, I don't know what a major seventh chord sound. Oh, it's just these chords. But if you don't hear it, the lowest note, the highest note, and the two notes in between, you will never know that you can apply it somewhere in the scope of your melody. And sometimes it's not just the root I said, it's when you stretch out with it and you do inversions. Every note you add to a chord gives you another inversion you can add. Here you only have root, first, second. Add the fourth note. Now you've got four. Let me see. Here we go. Four different ways to play it. Now, do I play this chord? Let's see. No. But I'll take a note off from it. Same major seventh chord, but I'll take a note off it. Now you've heard that chord so many times. Sounds different now with additional notes added to it. But if you've never heard this, you would not know that you can practice jumping around and see where you could potentially place it in the context of your song or being used in someone else's song. Let's go back to my work page where I can't get a camera up there. Make sure the music is still there. Good, it's still there. So I wanted to work on the seventh chords live. I started working on it and I says, gee, let me go live and do this because I can always leave it up. So now we're going to add a seventh chord, and a seventh is, if you got your major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh, a major seventh is the natural path to the scale. A major seventh. A seventh chord is your flatting the seventh note. So now, number one in our Nashville scale chord chart, the seventh now becomes a C, E, G, B flat. That's a very important tone that you hear in probably 90% of your songs, because it's an actual leading tone that takes you from one key to the next, and I kind of will show you what that is. If you heard me couple the fourths, it's in that fourth tone. It's part of that family, which means it can lead you somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Like it's this scale, stop this scale. And again, this music can take you in loops if you really want to stop and investigate what it means. So that's the seventh tone. If we go to and yes, it needs a major note in order to be a seventh. There is a minor seventh, but we're not in the minor seventh yet. We're in the major seventh. So your next note, you know you're going to need a major, and you're going to need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flatted. And that gives you your D7th. That's where we had stopped. D, F sharp, A, C. So now we're going to go to the E. And I said I was going to do this live because everybody can actually screenshot what they're watching. So if we go to the E, we know in the Nashville system, this is a minor. But if we're going to do a 7th chord or, a D7, we have to make it major, which means we got to add the sharp. So we've got the D, F sharp, not a dollar sign. Let me move my keyboard over. The B major, which we were already using. C the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry, 7th. Because we're in the D major scale. We're going to flat that last note, which is basically flat it by meaning that's the going down or descending is a flat, ascending is a sharp for those who are technical. So now we've got our D7th chord. So that B flat belongs to the 4th tone of that scale, which would be the 4th chords and the 4th note, which is the F major scale. I never knew that before. Oh, you'd be surprised if I told you some secrets that other musicians don't tell you about how you can maneuver around the keyboard and do those licks that they show you that you want. Oh, how are they so wonderful? Because they're playing scales in another key, but in another off key. I think I've covered that before. The C minor scale is the same scale as E flat major. Same scale, just starts with a different note. Same exact scale, just starting with a different note. So fingering won't be a problem. If you can do E flat major scale, you can do C minor. Same notes, you're just starting at a different note. Again, no one shared this with me. It was until I actually looked at the keyboard and says, wait a minute. I can chord this down in C minor and wind up in E major and wind up in E flat. Anyway, go back to what I was doing. D, F sharp, B major, and we're going to now have a E on a D. That gives us our E7. So let's get the D in there. And I find I'm typing this in, but I would write this out on paper back in my early days so that I could have a reference. And then I would just practice those tones. And then I would hear them in a song and I go, that's the 7th chord they're playing there. So it made learning songs easier chord-wise because I can hear the chords they're using. Yes, I heard the... But when they went to this chord, I go, wait, where did that chord come from? Oh, wait a minute. Minor, major, drop down 7th. Oh, that's that chord he's using. We got that? Okay, so now we're at the F. The F7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the F7. We sharp the 7th note. It's our scale. 7th note, flat it. The F major scale. Now we've got our F7. So we write this out. Here's one of those tricks that I think they learned in school. Face is a 7th chord. Face, rather, is a major 7th chord. The word face, F-A-C-E. If you keep that in your mind, you know that F major 7 is the word face. Now we're doing an F7th, which means we're flatting the 7th note, C, and now we become E flat. Now, why is this important? These are tones that you are hearing in gospel songs that unless somebody tells you that it's being used in a gospel song, they'll tell you, play the 4. And you go, okay, what note do I play? What key? Do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do that? Once your ears are trained to hearing all these chords, you won't need to ask what chord are they playing in the fourth. You would have practiced it. Your ears would be able to recognize it, and then you just go on to the next song. Okay, next is the G, and we need a G7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our major scale for G, flat the seventh note. Now, I told you when I was showing the chord, we weren't up to playing this chord yet. Now we are, because it's a G7, and I'll show you how you incorporate that in the song we were doing. F, B, D, and an F for a G7. Continuing on to our sixth chord, we know that's a minor, so we have to make it a major. Go to the major scale. There's our seventh chord. We're going to flat seventh note rather. We're going to flat the seventh by dropping it down a step, and then put our major chord on top of it. And there's our A seventh chord. Thankful that the Chordy app does show this for you also, just so that I'm not making an error in my nomenclature. A. Now it's going to say here on Chordy app D flat. For those who say, oh no, it's C sharp. True, it is both. It is D flat and C sharp. They share that space depending upon where you're going to go. E and G. And then our last, which is the most note that has the most change, because it doesn't just drop one note, because of its placement on the keyboard, it has to drop two notes, because there's a lot of sharps in the B major chord. So there's our Nashville seventh chord. We knew that when we did our major seventh, we had to sharp. We had to sharp the third note and sharp the fifth note to give us our scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, flat, or drop it down at half a tone, and go to our major chord, and there is our B seventh. And we write this in, capitalize that, our B. Now, Chordy app is calling it an E flat, because I'm in the Chordy app, I'm in the key of C. If I'm going to be playing in B, for this to be all sharps in this proper scale designation, I'd have to be in a B flat scale. But because I'm staying in the C scale, that's why you're seeing flats and sharps. Same name, just a different way of looking at it. It is a point of view. You're either looking up or you're looking down. If you're looking up, it's a sharp. If you're looking down, it's a flat. Same note though. So where were we? B. We've got the, what do they call it? Chordy app called it E flat. Some may want to call it D sharp. Okay. F sharp. Took me a while to get used to saying, okay, let me change that. A while to say G flat instead of F sharp, because I was raised on the term of F sharp until I got into a chord book. And I said, wait a minute, they call it G flat though. Same key, just a different way of looking at it. So now we have our chord chart of seventh chords. In this same scenario, can we use these chords in our test song, Oh Give Thanks Unto the Lord, in the same format where we've got the Nashville chord 1, 4, 3, 5, 1. So we've got our scale tones in numbers. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. Then the next line, for he is good, yes. Then we drop down to the 7. That's why it's in parentheses C. He is good. So now we look at the Nashville system. We could use that, or we could use that. We determine that as a musician. You determine which one you're going to use. If you're going to throw a bass in there, 4. Oh, wait a minute. There's that F7 in there. Where did that come from? As I told you, these chords are in your melodies. Rather, your melody, I should say, are in these chords. That's why I stress learning the melody to all these songs, because you will find the chords are built around whatever melodies the writer selected. It's when you go outside of those melodies that you have the most fun. So, give thanks. There's our F7. Now we're going to go to the 5. We're going to look at our chart. Which one are we going to pick? Are we going to pick the major 7th for the 5? B, D. No, that don't sound right. Because now your ears have to say, that don't sound right in the chord. Okay, drop down to the 7th. Oh, that sounds better. Why? Because the melody is in the major scale. Even though this chord can be substituted, it's not in the scale of the song. But that chord is. So now our 5 can be, oh, give thanks unto. There's an inversion. To, I'll play it low so you can see the whole chord. To the, and back to the 1. Now you've just used, yes, the Nashville system, and you incorporated what I call cousin chords. By cousin, they're in the same family, but they've got some other tones in their family. Oh, give thanks, or thanks unto. So that sounds a lot prettier than just having putting that 7th in there. G7 to the Lord. Okay, let's continue. For he. Now that's our Nashville 6. He. We can keep that there. Because a major would sound horrible. So a major 7th. Let me see. Right. That note is not in the scale. Doesn't go up there. So to add that 7th in there would kind of throw it out. So the minor 6, the Nashville 6, I'll put it like that. He is good. You can stay in the Nashville 2. Yes. Oh, look at that. It still fits. But now we can go back to the 7th of the G. He is good. Now, am I going to reinvent the wheel? No. But what I will do is add some different spokes to the wheel. And that is what I try to emulate when I look at how songs are interpreted. Again, when I look at a song, okay, we're going to be in the 1. Oh, give thanks. There's my 7th unto. I shouldn't throw a diminished in there yet. There's my 7th. It's stretched out though. I've gone across the keyboard to give a nice fuller sound. Melody at the top. Rather than do this, I give it that sound because I can hear. And the notes in between. And it gives me space to do movement. Space to do movement. There's the Nashville 6, the Nashville 2, the Nashville 5 with a 7th. And back to the 1. But now you see me stretching the 1 out. Because as you begin to grow musically, you're always going to want to push the envelope just a little bit and not lock yourself into, I have to do it this way. inverted. Hear the inversion, hear the inversion, add a major seventh where it fits in the melody. If the melody is in this range, or because I can change that, 6, 2, 5 with a 7th, 1. As you're building on your musical journey, I'm glad that you allow me to be a part of it. I've been sharing on the internet now since, let's go back to the screen. I've been sharing on the internet now, on the actual internet in the AOL dial-up days since 1999, in this location where I am right now, here in my basement in my home. When I purchased my home, I wanted a office space so I could set up to do what I'm doing exactly right now. When the broadband got faster, I was able to install a camera, an overhead camera. So when you see this scene right here, I was doing the overhead camera back in 2002, I would say. Cheap camera as it was, but I wanted to be able to show the notes that I was playing. So when I talked to a C and a C seventh and a C major seventh, I wanted to be able to show not just the chord name, but the fingering. Yes, I can now do this. So that you had more than just a chord name and a sound, but you can actually see the fingering. And how do the hands fall so easily? That's how. It just drops naturally. Could be here, could be here, could be here, could be here with the pinky, because they all get the practice of playing notes on the keyboard. Questions? I see we have 9 who are watching. I restarted the stream, so I've lost my welcome. Welcome to you was on the old stream that had crashed. Welcome, please. I'm just typing in. Let me know. I'm somewhat a good typist. My first job, I worked for the IBM Corporation fixing typewriters, so I learned how to type fixing typewriters. So if you're watching, please, and if you have some insights to what I'm trying to discuss in regards to the Nashville system, a Nashville number system, please enlighten me also, because I'm doing my research. I'm not just making this up. I am looking at the theory behind the system and then applying it to how I learned to play gospel music. Because I, again, was never taught the 1, 4, 5. I was taught, what does that sound like there? What does it sound like there? What does it sound like there? What do I hear there? What do I hear here? Oh, I hear a 7th chord. Oh, that's a 7th chord? That's a 7th chord. That's a 7th chord. So that's what I hear. So that's what I would go to the piano and sculpt out. So if somebody was using it, the minute I heard this chord and I heard the next chord was a 4, I go, oh, that's how they lead to the 4. 1, 2, 3. So this is a leading tone to the 4. But then I heard someone do this. I said, oh, wait a minute. That's another way to the 4. Oh, where is that in the books? It's not there. It is when you begin to, and I think I have that page still up. In your practice session, what is it, number? It's, what number is there where it tells you to listen? Number 5, listen to recordings. Listen to recordings of other pianists, both classical and contemporary, to get an idea of what good piano playing sounds like and to learn new techniques and styles. I covered that, I think, on 2 sessions ago. Tips to becoming a better piano player, because I listened to everything, and it doesn't mean it was a church music. It was whatever I could hear on television. Then I would go, okay, I want to be able to play that. The minute I heard something, my next step was to run to the piano and figure out, well, gee, what was he doing now? What was that song? Huh? And I would struggle because I says, gee, now I got to remember, what were they doing? Were they in this key? Were they in that key? Were they in that key? What key? And I have to rely on my ear to take me to what I want to learn. I want to learn the Batman song. The theme to Batman, the cartoon. Took me a while to figure out where those notes coming from. What's the lowest note I hear? What's the highest note I hear? Is there movement? Goes down. Okay. Oh, so how do I move my hands to do that on one hand? I was like, wow, look how easy that is with no one to show me, allowing what I heard and then going to the keyboard, trying to remember what I heard. And that, I think that is one of the reasons why, I don't know if your YouTube sent my live stream message to you earlier. I haven't looked. It may be there. Let's go take a look at it. But as I listened more and more to different songs, I would go to the piano and what they call hunt and peck and try to find out where it's at. And in years, not in days or months, but in years, I began to accept the fact that musicians won't help me. I have to figure it out for myself. And the figuring out part came when I got books underneath me, and I mean books, chord books, two-hand chord books, the fingering of chords. And I think the last book that I have, let's see, I still have it here. Let me just go get it because I keep it handy. I've already worn the page off of this book. I believe this was the last one I got. The cover is already worn off of it to where it took me through all the things that how a chord is formed. Let me see if I can show that. I'll turn that correctly. How chords are formed, their names, the fingering that's involved with them. And then when I got to the rear pages, something which I did not know existed, every chord in the key of C in one hand. Not just one page. That's 2 pages, 4 pages of chords that I never knew existed. But once I began to practice these chords in every key, when I would hear a song, I would hear that chord used. So now my ear became my friend, and this became my guide. And in the workbook which I created, I borrowed these pages and placed in that workbook for musicians who may not have an area where they can get to that kind of information, where all these chords, a C11, ninth 9. Let me see. Bum, 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 bum. How does Chordy App see this chord? Because Chordy App disagrees with some of the chords that this book has. It doesn't see it like the book sees it. But then what I do is I just apply my ear, like this chord, C11 sharp 5. It sees that as a B flat 7, but in this book, it sees it as a C11 sharp 5, G sharp, B flat, D, F. So there's an argument as to how a programmed Chordy app sees a chord that's been placed in a book, but when I hear this chord, I think of B flat 7th. Why it's considered a C chord, I don't know. But just to know that I could practice multitude of chords in every key, and then as I would then reach out to these, go back into my past, listen to the songs I heard, I go, that's the chord they're using. Even the actual big band chords. When I would do Misty, let me see if I'm in C. No, that's F. D7, B flat, C. There we go. So when I began to discover that these chords that I've been listening to all these years in all these songs actually had names to them, and then I would go back into a song I had learned in the past and had trouble with, and then began to apply these chord names, not the Nashville chords. Again, I was not taught the Nashville chords. I taught myself with chord books the chords that were relative to the songs that I was hearing and that I had to learn as a young church musician in my 15 or 16 years old. Before I started playing for church, this is what I was doing, preparing myself, not this chord book, but previous ones, that when I got to church and I had asked, can I play the piano? Because there was no one on the piano. I felt so comfortable because when I heard a song that they were playing, I go, oh, that's root chords with inversions. Those are the hymns. Then when they got to the gospel segment, I'm going, oh, wait a minute, those are seventh chords with minor sixes. That's big band. That's the era in which my music training started in high school, playing an instrument, hearing the big band sounds with the diminished seventh, seventh. So it became natural for me to just play along. And then when I was given songs to learn, which were of that era changing over, which was the Hawkins era, now I had to go to work. Oh, happy day. Oh, what's that chord? According to the book, it's an E augmented. We're in G, so it would be an E augment, a new name. So when I heard the chord played, I had to go to the book and search for until I found the chord that gave me that sound. I said, oh, that's the chord that they're changing into, not That's the chord, because there's tension there. There's that C major, seventh. Didn't I tell you? Depends on where you're going to use it. So this all goes to show that, for me anyway, the Nashville system is a good base, a strong base, a place where every musician that wants to learn the use of chords in a system needs to know. I've never said the Nashville system should be cast aside. No, it should be the base where everything starts. Your ear needs to be trained not just on the scales, but the Nashville system, which is going to give you major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and then turn right back to the major. Your ears have to be trained. I am discovering as I'm doing my deep dive into the Nashville system as it relates to gospel piano. Yes, you need that bass. I didn't have it. If I'd had that bass, I would have been 5 years ahead music learning than I was, because I also did learn the to read sheet music as an instrumentalist, so I can look at chords on the sheet music and be able to finger them out from the scales, and then apply the other chords which were associated with the sound of gospel. And I've often commented that for those who make the declaration that the jazz sound came out of the church, no. The jazz sound entered the church and mixed in with the music there to enhance the sound. And the people who were attendees who know jazz appreciated more the sound of the music in the church, because the sound of jazz, the Nashville music system, set up a path for more contemporary chords to come. Hey, M. Williams. Yeah, as I am looking at the Nashville system, depending upon what key you're in, you won't see sharps or flats. If you stay within the C system, which a lot of songs are hanging around. Now, you have people that will write in E major, because that's for guitar players, and they'll always start in a minor to a major to a major. Let me change to my piano. So in that sense, yes, if they stay within the those elements of the Nashville scale. Let me switch to my guitar, because usually when I talk about the praise songs, they're all piano, they were all guitar based. There's your 6, there's your 4, there's your 1, there's your 5. So a song written, and they're using the Nashville chords. That's your minor, which is your bum 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 minor, minor. If I did the Nashville system, no, there's something wrong. Got a minor. There we go. Minor, major. Yeah, okay, major, major, minor, diminished. There we go. There we go. I had to think about it, because I don't usually do the Nashville chords in the key of E major. But just to show you that the Nashville chords are used in our praise songs. There's your 6, your 4, to your 1, back to your 5. Pick a song that's using the Nashville chords to the 1, to the 5. Now you got all 4 sharps in E major. But because the Nashville system does not talk to sharps and flats, it just talks to the 1, 4, there's a root 4, root 5, root 6. So you base your chords on the Nashville system, root but inversions. So you'll be an inversion here, and minor, right, minor inversion, major inversion, root inversion, depending upon where your bass is, either the root or second inversion. They build their melodies based on the placement of those chords. So you'll hear somebody talk, "Whoa, we're going to be in the 1 in E major." No, there we go, the 1. So you're going to build your melody above that chord. Now go to the minor 6. the 4, go to the 5, back to the 1. So whoever is playing, whoever comes in, as I say, this is what I've discovered in the Nashville write-up. Where is the chords? There is a write-up here. I see it all the time when I'm scrolling through. It's like I don't have it. You will see it in the description section. There it is. The Nashville number. I know I had it there. The Nashville number system. Chords assigned are numbers based on their root note. So when they're playing their root note, that'll always be the 1 because their root note is the 1. So they're going to assign a chord there. If they're going to go to the 4, you're going to go to the root note of the 4 and finish the chord. Root note of the 5 is the B, so the chord right there. But musicians will disobey this rule. They'll say, well, I don't have to use the root. I can use the inversion. I can use that inversion. That is what is allowed. But when you get into the gospel end of it, they say, well, okay, I don't want to do a minor 6. I want to put a major 6 there in E in the scale of. Why? Because that note by itself has a major sound tone to it. It doesn't have to be minor. Gospel goes outside the rules. It says, this is what I want to do. And I think I covered this on yesterday's stream when I went a little bit of a comedy thing there between the natural system and the gospel system, where they throw the rules out the window in gospel. They say, well, I'm going to do this. I don't want to play a minor. I want to play a major 7th here because this is how I want to write the song. But the rules are there to be a guide to all the new people coming into the realm of music. Just like when you begin to learn your first words, what are they going to teach you? Not the alphabet. The alphabet sounds. R, B, C, C, D, D, E, A, E, I, O, U. That is A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y. They'll teach you that first so that you can associate that R sound with the letter A, the at sound with an A with a T. Now you can put together your first word, which is basically daddy, D, da, a, and Y for E, daddy. That's just what chords are. They give you the root, add another note, Now you can say a word in the sense in chording. Nashville number system assigns a number and a chord to that number. That's always going to be a 1 in the Nashville system. The 2 is always going to be a minor. Why? Because the system says it's a minor. When you go out that system, well, I want a major there. Well, you're going against the grain. You should want to be here. Why do you want to go there? Because that note is available to me. My melody is going to be taking me into a place where that chord, with that change, I can use to go to the 4. Let me get out of this and go back to my piano. And when I hear other content creators speak to the Nashville system, I'm screaming at the screen, tell them the chord they're putting in the 4. Don't tell them if you're here in the 1. Let me just show you my If you're in the 1, and then they tell you, okay, now in the 4, you're going to be playing, this is your 4 chord. Okay, and what is the name of that 4 chord that you're not telling them? It's nice to know that, that's the 5. But tell them the name of that 5 chord. Don't just say this is the 5, or that's now going to be the 4. Okay, well, what is the name of that 4 chord? Don't tell them, well, it's, what does Chord App say? That's an E major 13 flat 5th sharp to 5 over an F. No, that's the 4 chord. No. Tell me what the name of that chord is, and in relationship to the melody that I'm playing, Why would I use that chord? That's the hello, elect lady, and hello, Micah. There's a gentleman here, Dallas, Texas. Welcome. I have the argument when I see other content creators telling people this is the four. You want this? You want to put this in the four chord? And I'm like, okay. And in what conjunction? Where in the song will you put that? Like in our song, "Oh, give thanks." Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. Oh, give thanks. There's my four chord. Can I put that chord in my song? Oh, give thanks, 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 thanks. There's the melody in there. Oh, give thanks. No, put that chord in the four. Why? Because it's going to sound great. All right. Melody wise, it's kind of clashing with the direction of the melody. Oh, give thanks, thanks unto the Lord. Now you can kind of get it in. If you're getting my idea, if you're going to give someone these wild, outlandish chords, make it fit a melody. If it's just you're just chording for the sake of chording, then I can understand that. Because then you can just go 4, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. I just called out numbers and played chords, but if I told you, and that's the number system, you'd be sitting there scratching your head like, huh? And when I hear that kind of conversation, I scratch my head and I go, huh? There's an old saying in, I used to hear, and again, I am not bashing those who are teaching it. I just love to get an understanding on if I'm saying something wrong, show me that I'm saying something wrong so that I can correct myself. But for me, correction is go get the information, do your reference, do your lookup, find out what are they talking about, this Nashville number system from the people who know it better than I do. Sometimes the person that teaches you by ear can teach you what they know, and then you run against someone who, like if I had to come up against a classical pianist, they would laugh me out of the room. They say, you don't know what you're doing, you're not a musician, that's not how you play. And he'd be 100% correct. In his classical world, I'm not a classical musician. But if he came into my world as a church musician and I say, okay, play this song but raise it up 3 levels, play it in 3 octaves, not excuse me, that's the word. Modulate it 3 times. This entire song, without sheet music. They go. That's impossible. Then I'll say, step out, step aside. Pass me not, O gentle Savior, in the key of D flat. Okay, so that's G flat without sheet music. Change the key. Wow, that's impressive without sheet music. Can you do it in A flat? All right. Put it in A major. All right, smarty pants. I bet you can't do it in B flat. Now the classical pianist would be saying, but you have no sheet music in front of you. How do you know where those notes are? What you guys started with when you started piano. the scales, and the ability to hear chord progressions in every key and practice them, which is why every one of my videos you will see me have you practice the scale. Train your hands, train your ears. I'll give you bass chords of a song. I'll give you the seventh names so you can hear them. I'll give you diminished chords so you can hear them. I'll give you minor chords to a seventh, to a minor, to a seventh, to a diminished, to a sixth chord so that you can hear them. And as you practice them, you will retain what you hear. For those who are reading by sheet music, I am not dissing you. I will never do that. I am not a sheet music piano reader, but I do read hymnals, and I look at the 4-part harmony, and most times I struggle with the last note or the bass clef because I have to now read all cows eat grass for the bass notes. So that last line is A, B, C, D. I have to do that in a hymnal. But if I see the melody and the 3 notes that are below it, all of a sudden I'll go, okay, that's the song. Trust and obey, E flat. Mm-hmm. So now I see where the melody is going. In the scale, form the first chord. I want to go minor, which is the Nashville system. Nashville system has a minor in there. Yep. Stay the minor. A seventh. We learn that chord. Another seventh. Melody at the top. So I can hear those changes in my mind before I play them. If that's a strange thing to hear. If I want to go from a G7 to a C minor, I know the 7th G7 to the C minor. Jazz chord F, B, E flat, G. Move the E flat chord over to a D flat, E flat, D flat, down to a big sounding jazz C chord. Diminished. 7, 7. Touch and obey when there's no other way to be happy in Jesus than to trust rather, and I get the lyrics messed up. So the music theory should be learn these chords, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, 7th, and then back to your major again. Because all those chords you saw me play are in that family. I didn't know that it was a Nashville family until I've done my research. And as I say, I'm endeavoring to talk to the Nashville Number system even more as I am breaking down songs to show where they are using it and when they go outside of it. Now, when you get songs that go here, when they start talking tritones, I'm like, okay, is that in the Nashville system? In what chord is that tritone in the Nashville system? Well, the only thing I can see in the Nashville system is this, and that was added in tritone, 1 note, 6 notes above that note. That's your note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes above, 2 notes. They call that a tritone. Again, this is the theory part of it that I never had. I played that chord for years and did not know that was a tritone. To me, a tritone was 3 notes. But Again, I can be taught too. And now when I understand why I do this, okay, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I can understand what I've been playing all those years. I used those chords that have tritones in them. Never knew that that was they had a designated name because the Nashville system, at least from what I've been able to discover. Now, again, I'm going to do some more research to find out where the tritones emulate from and whose chord name or system do they reside in. This will this will give me more talking points because I like that sound too in my big band chords. I love that big sound. So those tritones have been a part of my vocabulary music wise, just not my learned side. So now that when somebody says, "Hey, what's a tritone?" I can speak. Pick a note and play 6 notes chromatically above it. That's a tritone. How do you use it? Pick a song and I'll show you how it's used in jazz. Very rarely will you find it in a hymn, but it can be used in a hymn, which helps to color the song tone wise. Now, I've been talking a lot. I need to see if there are any questions out there. So let me just scroll back, make sure I did not miss anything. Thank you for those who are watching. I see we have 10 who are watching me right now. I'm not sure if you are coming or looking from my Facebook page. I did do a link from my YouTube to my Facebook page. You're open to come into this stream and ask questions, stump the instructor. I don't mind that because gives me more research to look for. I like that analogy. Only been self-taught for 2 years. Okay, it's helped for me to learn a song. It helped me to learn a song. God's got a blessing. Do I know that song? God's got a blessing. Who's that song by? E.M. Williams. Dallas, Texas is here. Hello from Missouri. Elect Lady, one, thank you. Sheet music is difficult to read as a beginner. Nashville system makes things easier. Yes, it's a cheat to get you into a song the easiest way possible without having to know what the chord is because you just can assign a chord to the particular melody. That's what I wanted to do. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary using the Nashville system. So let's go back to shorts. We were using "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord." So let's see how quickly I can change this. These notes will change. So let's get rid of this. These lyrics will change. Let's get rid of that. The Nashville Number system will change. So let's get rid of that. And our bass will change. So let's start off with our lyrics first. Lord, give me some space. Prepare me to be I should do capitals so it'll be bigger, right? So you can see it better. Let me do all capitals. Lord, how many words? Prepare me to be a sanctuary. I spelled it right. To airy. A couple more dots. So using the Nashville system, or using our number system, as you can see above the chords, I should label this as major scale, because all your notes have to be assigned to a scale, either a major or a minor. Otherwise, you won't know what chords to put in place. Who joined us? Did you hear the big band soundtrack tones and play them, or you learned them first, practiced them, and then you were able to recite them in songs? I heard them first because I was in a jazz band as a instrumentalist, not as a pianist. So the chords were all built around me. Let me just change mine. So you wonder how, when I make the statement, I can hear the chords before I play them, because as an instrumentalist, I was the middle of the chords. To my right was the flutes and clarinets. The back of me were the trumpets. Trombones were to my other side. Saxophones was to my left, and then the bass sax was all the way on the other end. So I heard a spectrum of music with me in the middle. So if you ever watch my fingers when I'm playing, you will see me all over the keyboard, because I hear left, middle, I hear right, middle, and left chords. You see my chords move here, then you see me jump here, then you see me jump out, because I hear here, I hear in the middle. I hear bass with this part. On a piano, I have to hit sustain and then jump to the chords in the middle while that sustain is still there, then hit another bass and then jump to another chords. Because I can hear the chords that I've practiced over the years, I can anticipate, out of picking five chords I'm hearing, 5 structures of chords, high, low, middle, when I get to that portion of the song, which one am I going to use? I always have 5 chords, thinking 5 chords ahead, depending upon where the song is going. When I'm learning a song, I omit all of that and I center in what instrument do I want to hear first, and it's usually the piano before I go to the organ, unless it's an organ-based song. But I'll always separate everything and then begin to build from the middle out. Then when I begin to play, I'm playing from the outside in. So you'll see my chords playing, my hands doing this, to be going this all over the keyboard. Do you do any stride playing? Maybe What a Friend. Stride playing, I fake it. I'm not a stride player, but I will bridge to it. Like I call it bouncing for me. When I played for Church of God in Christ, all their songs are always up tempo. So when you don't have a drummer, you have to have a way to set the downbeat. For me, bouncing on my left hand with the bass set the beat of not having an actual drummer there. And I can talk to that while we're doing The Lord Prepare Me. Not having a drummer, if we were doing Can't Nobody Do Me Like Jesus in the key of A flat, can't nobody do me like Jesus, can't nobody do me like the Lord. I didn't have a drummer. In fact, I was playing the organ and not piano. But with the organ, I can do the pa, That's my sense of striding. I didn't do let me see. That's the stride touch. I never developed the stride touch, but I did develop the gospel bounce. And I learned to bounce off that. Big band, jazz, everything that I could possibly throw in there to make that song bounce with an actual congregation singing in unison. Nobody singing harmony, so I had to be the harmony also. the bass note for my bottom, and my left hand for my bounce without a drummer. So if you had hand claps and tambourines to keep them in place, I had to have that bass bum 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 bum. So I had to think of a bass player's pattern, my middle for where the melody is, and then on the outside high notes to keep it from being so muddy. What we got here. Is it good to learn stride for older congregations who sing songs slower, like There's a Storm on the Ocean? I like the bounce for that kind of song because you're locked into the speed of your congregation. Because somebody may start it slow. They may go storm cloud. Let's see, there's a storm cloud on the ocean. And as a musician now, you're getting bored because you want them to speed it up. You don't want to speed up old people. They pay the bills. But what you can do is musically add to what they're doing. And it's moving this soul rate. If my soul's not anchoring Jesus, it will surely slip away. Bum, 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 bum. Give them those jazz scale. Bum, 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 bum. Again, that's the jazz scale. Bum, 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 bum. Pentatonic scale. Da, da, da. And give them that change, that walk up. And it's moving this old way. Bum, bum, bum. If you give them that on that song, they won't stop singing. But you have a drummer. Oh, you don't have a drummer. Yeah, because without a drummer, you're at the mercy of the congregation and whoever can play a tambourine and if they feel like clapping. With the old foot stomping days, I don't know if they're ever coming back because our young people are lazy. They're so used to having techno music going on, everybody just stands there and wave around. But back in my day, your congregation clapped hands and stomped feet. That's how I was able to work on adding to every song they sang, because I couldn't sound like the same chords or the same music. What is it? They could start one song and stay in that same groove. Storm cloud on the ocean, can't nobody do it like Jesus. If you live right, heaven belongs to you. Running for my life. They all stayed in that same tempo. So all that really changed was the chording that they were following the melody around. I couldn't keep all the minor melody all the time. So I would go to switch to, then go back to minor, and finish off with a seventh. Where was I? Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, using the Nashville Number system. So we got our melody, key of C. Now I know where Lord is going to start with me. If you're using the scale, what number would we start Lord, prepare me on? For those who are watching, I know I have a 30-second delay, so Lord, prepare me starts on the 3. 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 5, 5, 2. Without using note names, we'll just use a number there. So the note number would be 3. Not 33. Well, let's put some dots there. 3, 2, 1, 1, more ones. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3. I need to tell another 2 in there. 2, And let's put that, stretch that out for airy. Again, I'm taking the number system to its root purpose. Let's give every scale also a note number. 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. All right, so we've got our designated note over our lyrics so that we know that whatever key we're in, whatever is the root key, that is also the key you want to use for the lyric note. Keeping within a number system. Let's see, just want to line these up a little bit so we know that. Take those back. No, too many. Take that. All right. Now we're going to apply the Nashville chords, and we can only use the major chords. We're only going to use the major chords in the Nashville system. So since we're starting on the 3, the melody, are we going to use the 3 Nashville number to start it off? Let's look at this. Sounds good. Don't sound right. That's the 2. That's the 3. No, the 3 chord and the 3 note don't match. The 4 chord and the 3 note, well, believe it or not, it does match. I'll show you that because we did major 7s. The 4 chord, no, that was the 4 chord. 5 chord, close. The 6 chord with our melody, actually the melody is in the 6th chord. The 7th chord, doesn't sound right. So now we go to the system and we go with our melody. Let's try the 1 chord. That fits the best. So we know that the 1 chord in the Nashville system works. So we're going to put a 1 there. We know that the 1 chord is going to fit. Lord, prepare me. And we can hold that chord there to be, prepare me, to be, can hold that chord there. To be, wow, that's a long chord. Lord, prepare me to be, you can hold that note there. Not till we get to sanctuary. Okay. Again, this is the way, and this is computer is doing this again on me. I think I must be touching something on my keyboard when I'm typing in that's triggering it. So we got the 1 chord. Prepare me, and it's holding there. To be a sanctuary. Wow, that's a long way to hold that 1 chord. But this is an idea, a concept of adding more chords to help use the number system to learn songs. So say we don't want to stretch the 1 all the way out there. Lord, prepare me. Let's pick another chord. Oh, guess what? The 6th chord is in that same, it's in that family with the melody. The 6th chord is right there. But what happens if I were to add the 4 and the 6th chord together? There is our 7th chord in the F. Lord, go to the 5 chord, 1 chord, prepare me. So now I know I can go and not use the 1 to begin, but I could pull in the 4 for our 1st chord. Lord, the 5 for our 2nd chord, and the 1. Just that far. Again, the 1 chord, Lord prepare me, is what they will teach you in school. But using the Nashville system, you can start with the 4, Lord, to the 5, pre, to the 1, prepare me. The whole toning of the chord just changed using the chords in the Nashville system. But you've got to be able to hear that change by trial and error. So we're at the 1, to be a sanctuary, to be a sanctuary. So already those 3 notes, dun, 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 the 1 hangs in there. But guess what? We haven't used this. Well, let's pull the 6 out. To be a sanctuary. The 6th chord gives it a nice tone. So we're going to go to the 6th chord using the Nashville number system chords. To be a sanctuary. And we're going to go back to the 5. And we'll just bring that all the way out to here. So we've got 4, Lord, 5, pre, 1, pair me, 6, to be a sanctuary, 6, 5, prairie. Why is my computer continually drop and change that on me? Okay, so there we go. We've got from the Nashville chords, Nashville. I just should say NCS, Nashville chord system, Nashville number system, NNS, Nashville number system. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 chords from that system in the song of Lord Prepare Me to Be a Sanctuary, which are appropriate chords to use. Wouldn't B major 7/5 chord work in C major? Well, see, your skill set, it has you jumping ahead. I'm looking at this from somebody who's learning to play for the first time, and they were told you need the Nashville number system to learn how to play songs. In this case, in this sense, for a new beginner learning how to play music, this is a good path to get them comfortable hearing how these Nashville number system chords can work in a praise song, because that's where they went to go get them. Now the gospel, if I did this in my gospel sense, would I follow this format? I would expand on it. Yes, those chords would be in there, but I'd go, again, Lord, this is the chord I would use, which is what? An F major 9. There's your Nashville chord. I just filled it out. Again, adding butter and sage and basil to your mixture. Lord, I'd throw in diminish and a 6. Prepare me. That's a direction I could choose. Your B major 7 flat to 5, B major 7 flat to 5th, B major 7th flat to 5th, B major 7th flat to 5th, B minor 7 flat to 5th. Could this work in C major? In what part of the song? In what part of this song? Looking at what you said, B minor, major, B minor 7 flat to 5th. That's a B minor major 7th. If I flat the 5th note, no, that's diminished. We want major though. Major. That's a B7. That's my major 7. But it says B minor. That makes it minor. Okay. Flat to 5th. Yeah. It turns it into a diminish. Doesn't let it. If I flat the 5th note, it doesn't turn it into a minor. It turns it into a at least in the chord app, it changes into a diminished chord. Oh, for a passing chord to the 6, No, we're not at passing chords yet. We're still using the in this example. I only want to use the chords in the Nashville scale to hope to help support the concept that if you learn these chords, you can learn songs. And I will say, as I'm understanding the placement of them, yes, you will learn songs using this system. Will it sound like the album? Depends upon the song you're learning and how many chords that they are using. In today's music, yes, using these chords. In my era, no. You wouldn't use this with "Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me." They would, as a musician, they would say, "No, you're not using these chords in this song. Sit down over there. Give me somebody that's going to use the chords that the songwriter wrote." But again, in Lord Prepare Me to Be a Sanctuary, we've got our note number, I should say. 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, to be a 2. I changed it. I messed it up. Lord, prepare me to be that should have been a 5, 2. Oh, look at that. I wrote the numbers wrong. Okay, that was my fault. I moved my microphone and there's a mute button on it that I wanted when I purchased it, and my finger touched on it because I'm trying to keep centered in the camera. So forgive me there. Thank you. That's why I always keep it. I keep my eye on the actual chat. Thank you. That's why it's good to talk to me, so I'll know if something is not happening. The number system, which, as I say, I am now a advocate for the number system for beginners if they stay within the rules. And I've shown you the rules. The rules say, go here. The rules say one chord, two chord, three chord, five chord, six chord, no, one, two, three, four, five, six, seventh chord. Those rules will help a person understand the placement of the melody, which means you have to know the scales to be able to have the song to fit the chord with it. We've got Lord, bass, 5 on the bass, 4 in the chord, melody on top. Lord, chord changes, but the bass stays on the 5. Prepare me. If I take off all my notes, there's your 1 chord, there's your melody. 6 chord, to be a sanctuary, 5 chord, Rary. This type of song can be learned correctly using this system. This type of song. Now, are you going to do total praise with this? Let's see. Can you do total praise with this? There's your 1, the 6, 5, 6, the 4, the 5, the 1, the 4, the 1. Now that's a different chord that is not shown there, because in the number system, that chord in the song is not there, but because it's in a 6 chord, you accept the fact that a 6 chord has this melody, scale rather, then that chord is there if you come outside of the rules. Go back into the number system. So yes, so the number system can be used if you accept the fact that you're going to come out of it based upon what the writer did, back into the minor, came out of the system, the 2, come out of it, back to the system, 2, the 1, 2, no, the 4, the 1, 6, 5. So yes, you can learn total praise, understanding that because the songwriter wrote in a, let's see if my microphone stays in place, because the songwriter wrote in a classical mode, which means he's going to use this is your 2-5-1, 2-5-1, 2-5-1 in a classical sense. That's where those passing tones would be. Well, no, the tritone is based off of the root key, which is to be the first note, and chromatically 6 notes above the tritone. So wherever you start the first note in your tritone, to form that tritone, which is 2 tones, it has to be 6 chromatic notes above that tone. So if you did it in F, 6 notes above, G flat or F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 would be a B with that F. That's your tritone. Because that's a rule. I got a light flashing on and off. I guess I've been on here a while. That's your tritone. And you can just drop it down. Yeah, bum, 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 bum. That is a tritone. Even without the other notes included, that's considered a tritone according to the rules. As I say, in gospel music, there are no rules. It says you have to walk on the street. Well, you have to walk on the sidewalk to get to this place. We'll walk on the street in gospel music because we know the sidewalk is there. We'll skip to the sidewalk and then jump back in the street. We'll go in and out, up and down, because gospel music is the web of the mind of the person doing the writing. That's how the music goes. But as I say, hundreds of thousands of songs have been written using the Nashville system. Tritone has a cartoon and 1940s type of sound to it. It's a form of jazz. And if you listen to a lot of the, as I did back in my day, cartoons, there was all big bands. They used whole bands to do the music behind. It wasn't until Disney took over and they started that real orchestral feel. But it was just a bunch of guys in a room just having a great time playing Dixie and the slap happy sound, which I enjoy. Again, that kind of cartoons music captured my ear a lot more than hearing what was happening in church. To me, church music was dead and boring. It was until I got home and listened to television theme music that my music really began to expand. I used to watch Hill Street Blues. No, that's MASH. Mm, there it, there it is. The theme to MASH. I love those chords. Hill Street Blues. I'm trying to remember. It's in that same format. A lot of theme music and a lot of music would always bounce off of each other. If one was using minors, the other would use minors. One was using majors, the other would use majors. Um, mm, Flintstones. So as I said, I absorbed everything. No matter what I heard, I absorbed it. I just did not know how to go sit down to a piano and articulate it. But then when I began to learn, I was a church musician, and so I did not get a chance to learn everything. But if I was listening to bass, once I began to understand they were using sevenths and diminished chords and melody, that's true. That's easy to learn. I could play that. I could have wrote a lot of songs that I began to tear up, to deconstruct and play the chords and go, oh, these are the chords they're using with a melody on top. Do I give one-on-one lessons? How do I contact you if you do? Yes, I do give one-on-one lessons. I do it on Zoom. I do it on Skype. Those are the two major platforms that I would use for one-on-one lessons. And you would have to contact me at my Gmail to set up an initial talk through so that I'll know see who you are and what your skill set is at that time. So let me put my email address in here. It's soundofjoy123@gmail.com. Because generally, before I take on a student, I need to know where they are musically to see whether or not they need remedial work. And by remedial, if you can't play Mary Had a Little Lamb in any key, then I'll know you don't practice scales. Then one thing I will not do is take a person's money and know that I'm not being able to help them because of where they are musically. There are some people who are a whiz at sitting down and playing whatever they feel to play. I've had students like that, and I felt bad taking their money because I knew they weren't getting anything from me. They just wanted some more chords to impress their friends. And I'm all about, as my music teacher dealt with me, if I couldn't play my part in the orchestra band, I wouldn't have been in the band, which means he said, you take this music seriously. This is not nothing funny. Music has a way of changing lives to the person that hears it. When you hear me play chords in my songs, I'm always worried about who am I affecting with what I'm doing. So if I'm just playing around having fun, yeah, it might impress somebody, but there may be someone listening to it that it may be in a point of frustration, and my joking around with chords added to that. So when you see me do it, like I'll do an actual closing song, in my head I'm thinking, okay, who's my audience? As I used to do when I was a church musician, I'd always look out into the audience to see who am I playing for? Is it young people? Is it seniors? Is it middle-aged people? Okay, what song, if I'm asked to do a solo, can encompass all of them? Do I do a hymn and then jazz it up? A lot of guys want to jazz up every song they play. I generally did not jazz up a song unless it was something like His Eyes on the Sparrow. Everybody jazzes that up. Or I'll play a jazz song like um, Just a Closer Walk with Thee. That's in your strides, full of jazz chords in it. Everybody likes to sing it. It's one of the actual standard songs, which I'm going to be covering in another workshop. I already have the write-up of what are the 10 most popular gospel songs of all times. You'd be surprised what's on that list. Somehow, Gold Teller on the Mountain made that list of the most 10 popular gospel songs. That's coming. I have my sessions planned out for the next 3 months, basically, and I'm always adding something new to it. Let me see. Can you play the chord so people can hear how it sounds to me? G F chord. Invasion. Is that a G bass and an F chord? Because usually when the note is on the left slash F, the note on the left is usually the bass. The note on the right is usually the chord. Let me switch to scene 2. If I'm reading you correctly, you want a G bass and an F chord. That's what you wrote. Okay. In relationship to starting Lord Prepare Me to Be a Sanctuary. F G. See, that's why I was wondering. Okay, we got F bass and a G chord. And a G chord. That's what I got. An F bass and a G chord. Pardon me a second, I'm losing my lights. Let me just change the battery. I always keep reserves on hand, and when they run out, I've got a plug. There we go. It's always good to have a little light on the subject. Disney uses that much in their cartoons. Oh, that one? I'd have to go and revisit the Looney Tunes. Nashville system plus um, questions. Now I stopped on the Lord Prepare Me just to show how I can endorse the Nashville system for the new musician. Now, if you're again dependent upon the song, of course, the praise songs of today are built on the Nashville system. I think I'd actually demonstrate that. If you wanted to do Waymaker, let me see. Let's go back to our session. Key of C, Waymaker. Promise Keeper. 4 1 5 6. 4 1. What else is there? Break every chain. 4. No, that's still Waymaker. Break every chain, break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There's a song in the 6 4 1 5. Pick it. As I said, these praise songs are paying attention to the rules of the Nashville Number system. I Belong to You by William McDowell. What chord would I use to start out the song? The key is A flat major, progression D, C, D flat, E flat, G, A, D flat, and an octave. I would have to hear the song. Oh, Invasion. It was so hard to play it, dropped 2. I tried it and it failed. I failed. Oh, Waymaker? No. Trust me. The Nashville Number system will get you directly into the song. It's just now up to you to know where the melody is and then apply the correct numbering and then add that number and then work around the number. If you're and again, the system only works if you know your scales. If you don't know your scale, if you don't know how to play in Waymaker is in the key of E. If you don't know the E major scale, me telling you to use the Nashville system won't help you. You have to know what this scale is, where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and octave 1 is, so you can go to the 6, no, to the 4, to the 1, to the 5, to the 6. Once you know that and got the correct fingering down, you want to get jazzy, that's the gospel turn. jazz. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just getting jazzy with it. Dun, 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 dun. Because I understand the path of that song, now I can go and dig out what the Nashville system doesn't want you to do. 4 to the 1 to the 4 to the 6, 5 1 4. Who does 5? No, 5 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Right, 5 1 4. I do that. The contemporary songs do that. But you do that in a setting where they're used to that song, they're gonna say, no, 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 no. 4, we're going to the 1. Go to the 6, my brother. No, go to the 5. Now go to the 6. Stay right there. Don't you do that. But I'm gonna go bum bum. That's what I'm going to do. Why? Because that's in me. No matter what key I'm in. Bum bum. Because that's in me, I can do that. Because that's in me. That may not be in your Nashville number system. They're going to go right there. What we're going to? We're going to the 1. I know we're going to the 5 now. Okay, let's go to the 6. And bang it, dun, 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 dun. Go to the 4. Go to 1. Go to the 5. Then go to the 6. In my head, I'm thinking, why not you guys go bum, dun, 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 dun. That's what I'm thinking. Guys, use some more notes. Put some passing tones in it. You get the folk swaying to one side like this. But no, that's not what they want. They don't want that there. They want be happy in the system, which is good for a beginner learning these songs. We'll end on the 5. And on the 5, 1 2 3 4. And on the 4. There it is. And on the 4. And on the 4. And yes, I would say do what this system has, the Nashville number system, do what it is designed to. Learn the rules. I'll say that much. If you're a beginning musician and you're getting into the church world of music, learn these rules, because you will find these rules will always help you if you get lost. What I preach a lot when I teach a song is know the home chords of the gospel scale. That's my gospel term for using what the Nashville system uses. I'm an octave above them. They're here. Let me see, they're here. Minor. I'm here. 7th. Major, 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 major. 7th. Back to a major. That's the gospel rules that I always preach about. If you could do that, you can hear the chords in any hymn, in any traditional gospel song. The contemporary ones, of course, you have to listen to what they're doing. But the Nashville rules: minor, 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 major, major, minor, 7th, and a major. I have to in my mind picture what chord am I playing next in a key that I've trained myself to do it differently. But I will submit that, hey, Thomas Mitchell, how you doing? if you're going to learn to get comfortable quickly, learning gospel music, then you must have a home base. The Nashville Number system is a excellent base, being that I was never taught it, but each time I'm using it now, I'm understanding it more, kind of the rules that they put in place to get you comfortable. Then you expand. As I say, I've got it. It's a switch scene. Does I have it in? And I've got to read this. Turn my camera. There we go. You see my head. A system, the Nashville Number system is a method of transcribing and organizing chords, not the melody, but organizing chords used in what music? Popular music. And that is the one of the key words there. It's used in, let's bring this over a little bit. It's used in popular music. Well, what's popular music today in the gospel world? The four chords: major, 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 minor. So the Nashville system, if you're going to learn these songs of today, not the songs of my era, the 1980s, the 70s, it's in there, but it's been expanded beyond there. But for today's popular music, this is a perfect way to learn songs, but this is the caveat that I'm always going to throw in there. You must know the scales. It's based on the idea of assigning numeric values to chords. And we showed you what those numeric values were. Go back to here, where we show you we assigned numeric values to chords. We gave in the C major, let me just highlight this. In the C major scale, we assigned numbers to root chords starting with the first note, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and we stop there because there's only 7 notes to a scale. The next is an octave. 7 notes to a major scale. If you're going chromatic, 13 notes. That's another story. So we assigned each chord a designated tone. Now, if we kept major, we'd have a real hard time putting melody around songs that are popular if we kept it all major. So the writers, the person who created chords, who is that? I don't know. I couldn't tell you who is the originator of this system, but that's one thing I think I want to go learn. Who originated the Nashville Number system? Was it done in a back room somewhere, or did a bunch of music aficionados come together and say, this is the Nashville? I'm assuming since it says Nashville, Tennessee is where it may have emulated out of, where blues music emulated from. System based on the idea that assigning numeric values to chords regardless of the key they are played in. So that's the rule. These chords are the rule for every key you play in. This allows musicians to easily communicate and play songs in different keys without having to know all the chord names. Now, I just showed you where we were putting together a set of chords, and I showed you a book that had 4 pages of chord names. What's easier, learning dozens of chord names or 6 chords that you can apply to every key and to any song? It's a cheat sheet, for lack of a better word. It's a cheat sheet, but it's a cheat sheet that works. Here's how the Nashville Number system works. The chords are assigned numbers based on their root note. First note, this, like I say, if you're going to do octaves, then you're safe, but the root note is really the rule, but you're safe doing octaves from the root. For example, the root number 1, the 4th chord is assigned to number 4, and the 5th chord is assigned to the number 5. That's kind of, here we're saying. This is another concept which we didn't cover, which I will cover maybe on my next stream, which is number 2. The chords are then labeled with a lowercase m. Now, this is if you're getting a lyric sheet written out for you, where um, the writer of the song wants you to follow a format. You know that you're going to be, if you're in C, he may not want a C major chord. He may want a C minor chord in the one. Well, on his chord sheet, you should see, and if you follow these rules, that's what they're rules, a lowercase m for minor, an uppercase M for major, or an O for a diminished chord. This is how the other chords are implemented in the Nashville system when it's written out. Again, I've heard no one talk to this. That's why I do my own research. And then number three, which I'm still getting an understanding of, but I can grasp it. The chords are then transposed to different keys by using the assigned numerical values. For example, if a song is written in the key of C, sorry for running so quick, comma, the chords would be labeled with the number 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. But if the song is transposed to the key of G, the same chords would be labeled with the numbers 3, 6, and 7. So in this one, 3, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. If you're okay, this one is still going to throw me until I go do some research and look at some videos that talk to this. But I'm assuming if you're in the key of C and you change to the key of G, but using the same chords, which can be also transposed into the key of G, they're no longer following their C numbering system. This is where it gets a little tricky in the number system. How do you know when you're going to switch it? That's why you would have a chord chart in front of you that charts out, okay, in this part of the song, we are changed the key of G. So if you play a C, it's no longer the 1, it's the 4 in G, where it's the 1 in C. That's the part of the number system where I'm going to have to do my research and get my understanding from the experts, and not so don't go by what I say. And then the fourth line, if you can see that, the chords can then easily be communicated and played by referring to their numeric value rather than their name. So if we're going to be in the 1 and C, hey, I want to go to F, go to the 4. We're going to go to the 6, go to the 6, the minor, back to the 4. All right, go to the 5. Everybody should know in the key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, got to know your scales. For those who talk against scales, I have an issue with those guys. I heard guys say, "Oh, you don't need to know scales. If you're gonna play the Nashville system, you better know your scales, because that's going to tell you. How will you know that this is 1 and not 6 if you don't know your scales?" All right, let me get off that boat. There's a question out there. Would you use B7 to modulate to C major and use the same progression next key? In what context? Well, let me go back. Is that a 2-5-1 turnaround 5-1-4? No, that's just big. And when I was doing Waymaker in the key of E major, I was doing I was counting the numbers to how I would turn around to get to the 4. So if I'm in the 6, 5, I would go 5, 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. I'll put a actually I'll do a half 1 in gospel. Waymaker, who you are. 5, 1, 4. Another way of going 2, 5, 1. No, that's not 2, 5. No, it's still a 5, 1, 4. As I say, I try to stay away from the number system when I'm doing my chords because I'm not thinking numbers. I'm thinking, where am I going and what way do I want to take? What path do I want to take? I could have gone. Five, drop down. Dun, dun, dun. That way too. What path chord wise do I want to take to get there? But again, that will be taking the song out of the context in which it was made. That you do with a band and you guys just having a good time. I like when you put that minor flat in there also. It's nice. Those are chords I've done for years. I've heard in so many different songs. In this Nashville system, they want you to stay within the rules, but in gospel, you go outside of the rules all the time. But you do it tasteful. I mean, you don't just go crazy, but some guys do. They begin to make up chords that are made up. This is a major dominant 7 over a 13. Okay, dominant what? Break it down. Where's the root note? Where's the lowest note? Where's the highest note? And what's all the names of all the notes in between? That's just me. I love information because I find that I can't. My camera's not right. I can't communicate effectively if I'm guessing or if I'm just making it up as I go, which is why you will always see me go get myself educated and then go out and get some more. As you can see, I've put a lot of writing information into my description because that's the information that I went and got. I actually wanted to get a song built upon the number system, and I was baffled by how it sounded out. A different way of being written. I'm going to bring this to a close. I want to show you what was provided to me. Here we go. I wanted Amazing Grace in the Nashville format, but I didn't ask for the number system, but in the Nashville chord format. And this is Amazing Grace in the chord format. Just the verse, the chords are above, the verses are below. And when I looked at it, I go, okay, F, C7, F. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. G minor. I once was lost. Again, I'm looking at these chords, and I'm saying, well, because of how I acquired them, I acquired it from an AI computer, who I get some my information from. So I said, okay, that's not too happy. I wanted Ribbon in the Sky in the jazz format. Because again, I want knowledge. I want understanding. I want to know. I want to know, what did I miss by not being taught by a professional music teacher. So this I'll have to look at. I haven't looked at it yet because this is using sus chords. I say, well, gee, there's more chords than that in that song. But again, I asked an AI computer to break that down for me. But this is where I'm getting a lot of my information. These are the list of the 10 most popular gospel songs of all time in America. This is coming up. Did I do this one? Amazing Grace is number 1. Oh Happy Day is number 2. His Eyes on a Sparrow is number 3. What a Friend We Have in Jesus is number 4. Somehow Go Tell It on the Mountain is one of the most 10 popular songs of all time in America. Number 5, How Great Thou Art, number 6. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, number 7. That's a spiritual. Great is Thy Faithfulness, number 8. Old Rugged Cross, number 9. And Just a Closer Walk with Thee, according to the AI, is the number 10 most popular song of all time in America. And I know all of these songs, every one of them. So, yes, there will be many sessions coming in the future, um, talking to information, not just how I feel. Even the most popular, whatever is the current song today, I will use YouTube. That's my app. That's my ears into what's popular today, song wise, because I want to know why. Again, why does a song get 50 to 100 million views? And could I have wrote that song using the same chords if I had the melody and the vocal? That usually is the two most governing steers to any song. Chords are number 1, the vocalist is number 2, and the melody is number 3, in my opinion. Did I miss any questions? You were asking about, would I use B7 to modulate to the key of C? B7 to modulate to the key of C. B7 to modulate to the key of C. B7. That's the major 7. B7. Drop it. That's a B7 to modulate to C. You got to give me a bass note. Would you use B7 to modulate to C major using the same progression in the next key? It's got to give me a starting place. Because to me, if I'm going to modulate to C from a B7, I need a passing tone, which is G7. I need a passing tone. G, B, G7, right to C. I mean, you can just go. There would have to be a natural context for me using a B7 by itself. It's got to resolve. If I was going to go to that diminished, there's still a B7 over an A. Yep, still. Depending upon the chord, if it had a means. Oh, okay, I meant that flat 7. See, you got to talk when you. It's like speaking Spanish, and I'm listening to English. The minute you start speaking Spanish chord wise, I'm gonna take your word. That's what you mean. And when you change up, I'm like, no. You can't change the word. So now I'm looking at B7. I'm saying, okay, how would I get to C from B7? Well, I'm gonna pass through the G. Does it make more sense now? Oh, sing it. Oh, okay, yeah. But now, I can play around it. it can be done in the context of what you're going to be doing with it. My voicing is a combination of every chord I've ever heard and hearing it in my head first before I play it. Trace Williams has a good book about the Nashville Number system. I'll do my research online and see if I can get excerpts of it. Again, am I going to become an aficionado of the Nashville system? No, just like I'm not an aficionado. Um, I'm not an aficionado of the gospel system. I'm just a musician who found his way through the church into wanting to express himself musically, and the church provided a platform for me to express myself musically. Otherwise, I would have been maybe playing for a juke club. I didn't have the funds to attend any college on music. I'd have loved to have attended, here I live in the New York area, would have loved to have attended Juilliard and sat with the musical experts, but I doubt if I would have passed the entrance exam, because there I believe you have to be able to play musical pieces by sight reading, and because I was never trained by a piano player, I wouldn't have felt right faking my way. I know a lot of people can memorize music, put the music in front of them, and then play every note from hearing somebody else play it. That wasn't me. My life took me in a different direction where I needed to be able to repair and fix things, and music was the extra that I did, not the only. But I would have loved to have known whether or not I could have competed with everyone musically. Because I have a good work ethic. I have an actual discipline, which you need a lot of discipline to be able to do this music, especially to hear somebody play. Could I mimic an actual classical person playing? If they're playing a little less notes, yes. But if they're playing all that stuff that they do, that I watch them do and listen to, no, I couldn't be all the. I know I couldn't do all that. But I often, as I say, that training for them would, if they were to step into my arena in the church world, they would have a heart attack, because they wouldn't be able to understand how are you playing this song without the music in front of you. How do you know to play a seventh in this chord? Why would you put a diminished chord there? Why would you keep using all those minor chords? What is a Brooklyn sound? They would have a fit understanding what is this Brooklyn sound. Well, you got to be from Brooklyn and be immersed in those musicians to understand the Brooklyn sound. They work off of minors, and then they work off of minors into minors, minors into minors, and diminish into the seventh and the minor. Boom, boom. Because I was immersed around Institutional Church of God in Christ, where the great master of the Brooklyn sound, Butch Hayward, resided as their musician. I got to hear his building of that Brooklyn sound that everybody built their Brooklyn sound off of. So I can hear how he does E minor. And when I understood what he was doing, he was working off of minors, and then bum 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 dum 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 minor. He loved to be major, but he was really in A flat minor. Once I understood musically from getting the understanding of chords, then the Brooklyn sound became, oh, I know the Brooklyn style. If you know your minors, and you go to a major, back to the minor, then go to 7, dun, 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 and just, as they say, rinse and repeat, recycle. No, that's the Yamaha S70 XS. It's had it since 2008, so it's got 15 years on it now. It still plays like it did day one when I bought it, because I take care of it. Again, that's my discipline. Don't tear a keyboard up. It'll be happy. It'll be your friend. Only had to take it apart one time to fix a sticking key. I actually put a video up on what I did there. It fixed itself after I got it apart, which I don't understand why. That G used to stick. This for 2 years. That G would stick. And I'd sit here and be pulling it up during the lesson. But yeah, it's a wonderful keyboard. I've got a Chord in the back waiting to replace it, and it's been waiting for about 8 years to replace this one. I look and see what questions are there that I may have missed. I like it when you put that minor flat 5 in there. That was nice. Okay, that's that changeover to get to the 4, which was the A. Go before that. Did I miss any questions? Passing tones. That 2-5-1 turnaround, a 5-1-4. Okay, I covered that. 7 sus 2 chords. Okay, I'm not sure where I was putting it because I was doing a lot of the gospel turnaround stuff that I do. Oh, the William McDowell song. What chord could I use to start out the song? The key is A major, A flat major, chord progression C, D flat, E flat, E flat. Let me hear what that song sounds like. I know best. William McDowell. What is on I Belong to You? William McDowell, I Belong to You. Let me see what it sounds like. I can't, of course, play it over the stream because I will get hit with a copyright. I belong. That's why I've got a mute key on my microphone. I Belong to You, William McDowell. Okay, I'm going to mute so I can hear it. Okay, you wanted to change what now? The key is A flat major. Chord progression is C, D flat, E flat. Okay, that's the melody with a G. Okay. A flat, D flat octaves. A flat, D flat. Gotta have that in there. I'm sure that F is in there. Yeah, that F is in there. I may not have the exact, may not have the right chord. First chord to start off with is on the E flat. I always learn the song exactly first, how the writer wrote it, before I begin to make changes. So, but if you can use this chord if you want. It's going to drop back there. That may sound a little bit tight or tension, but it's that I use this change a lot. Here we go. I'll put them both together. There we go. Still trying to learn the drop 2 method. Drop 2 is a exercise in ear training to hear the second note an octave lower than where it should be. You've got to be able to hear this note out of place. I can hear that note. Bum, 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 bum. F, bum, bum, bum. B flat, C, D flat, D, E flat, F, G, A flat. Because I can hear tones. I can hear all the chords. Whatever I hear in my head, I can hear them. So I can mimic where they are. So if it's off, I will hear it off in my head and then go back to the keyboard and go, where did I miss it? And then make that correction so I don't miss it again. If you practice scales, it's all scales. Dum, 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 dum. You can't miss the note if you follow the scale down. It's when you change. You got to hear it and then play the according notes above or below it so that you can find practice. Scales on your left hand, and you'll find that drop two will come much easier when you know how to maneuver your fingers on your left hand by, as I say, there's more than one reason why I stress learning the scales in both hands, because it makes drop two that much easier, because your fingers will know how to get to the note, and it will hear the note that you want to do the drop two with. Let's see, any other questions? I've been here again, another 2-hour stream on a Sunday evening, but that's okay. I'm working towards doing a lot more streams with a longer time. I know some people watching may not drop on, but if you're cleaning the house, got your headphones on, and you want to hear my voice and hear me disseminating and deconstructing music, trust me, I always look to leave something that you can get from whatever I do talk about. And if I don't have something, I will look for something to add to the table, to so to speak. It makes more sense now. I also figured out that B minor 7 flat fifth 13 chord was, I think, is a B bass, B bass, B D F G A. B, D, F, G, A. Chord calls that a B minor 7 flat 13. Okay. Trying to think, do I ever have a use for this chord? We've got a diminished in there. And we got a diminished and a minor chord in there. There's your diminished, there's your minor, and you just added a G there for fun. Could have left the G off. I was asking for a passing chord for Sanctuary to get back to the one. Oh, we weren't on the passing chords, but let me give it to you. Let's go back to our screen. And then I'll bring it to a close after I take a look at this. Passing chord for Sanctuary. Just want to get this lined up correctly. A little more. I'm looking at 3 screens to make sure I get this right. Okay, I think I got it right there. To get back to the one. That would be an element of the G7th chord. Lord, you got to resolve. For, Lord, Lord, for, Lord, for. No, that would work in F. Lord, for you. Yeah, that wouldn't work in C, but would work in F. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure, pure, minor, and holy, tried and true, diminish, fifth, lift thanksgiving, I'll be a living Lord. Take the G out of there. Lord. Take that out because you don't need it, because that's on the bass. Lord. And resolve to this C7, 4. And you. So that chord is good for if it's in the key. Am I sinking through? Yeah, key of F. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. Passing tone. Pure and holy. Past tone. Tried and true. With thanksgiving. I'll be a living. Sanctuary flat, sanctuary. Now your chord with a B bass, no, with a C bass, no, G bass. Lord, yeah, so it's gonna resolve. You, if I had a C bass, it's gotta be that chord, which means I can't go there, but I gotta fit the melody for you. Okay, thank you, sir. That's what it sounded like in my church when I was younger. That's how a lady would play it for our church. Yeah, especially women. Women love to stay in whatever they learned it in. They don't like to actually deviate. That's what I have one of my viewers who wants every song in the key of D flat. And I want to believe it's because their singers can only sing in D flat. But I'm beginning to believe that that's the most comfortable key she knows. So no matter what the song, she asked for it in D flat. Okay, what it is, we'll put it in D flat. I'm like, she's asked for 6 songs, I think, and they're all in D flat. And I'm saying, okay, well, maybe there's singer voices can't go above a certain range. But now I'm beginning to think that that's her most comfortable key. So every song she wants to learn, put it in D flat because I can play. Most D flat, most musicians shy away from all the upper black keys. I love going up to this range because it allows me to become a little more flexible in my movement. Right and true with thanksgiving, I pay a living. Lord, for you. D minor is my number one favorite scale. D minor. And that's because you like playing playing the white notes. Then you would like what's that song in D minor? There's so many of them. Fairy Mountain. I'm with you on that D flat scale is a favorite in A flat. Oh, okay. Yes, I do encourage that those in the chat do converse with each other. G flat, F sharp for those who love the sharp. If you know how easy those changes are to modulate, you just look at the chords and throw a seventh in there to where you want to go. F minor for A flat. G. A minor. No. There we go. Never dismiss all the music that you could possibly hear and then take it to another level. Do you like chromatic walk downs? Depends upon which one it is. I have one that I developed for myself just from a practice standpoint. For me, that's an exercise that I put together just to practice it. The hard part is going back up. This way I get stuck. There it is. Just for practice. Would I write a song using that? If I had a classical mind, yes. But for me, it's just a way of training my ear to hear modulation or what they call transition chord changes, or not transition changes. What I want to call it? Transition chords, I guess. Follow the scale down. There it is. There it is. I don't practice it much anymore because I've been doing a lot of viewer requests and working on the session music, session things that I'm doing right now. So from a practice standpoint, do I still practice as much as I used to when I was 20 years old? No. I use enough to be able to learn a song and then get ready to go to the next song. When I do my my soundtracks, I have to put myself in a mode of I don't have to play every chord in a soundtrack that I may do. So I'll have to pull back and just play within the track to give space for other instrumentation. But if it's just piano, then again I'll have to look at why am I want to use 20 notes when 5 is enough. If this is all that's needed, that's all that's needed. F. No. Okay, I want B flat. There we go. I know there was a change I wanted in there. I want to go from. Okay, I think I've got everybody. I've been here over 3 hours. Again, another 3 hour stream. As I say, I'm hoping to leave something that everyone can take something from the stream. If you wanted to jump through, I don't have a timestamp person. I have to learn how to do timestamps. I have to review it to jump through areas. But I try in every area of any stream that I do. There's some theory, or a lot of theory, I should say, and some practical application. I'd like to be able to leave with everyone. There'll be no closing song today, because I'm now feeling parched. 3 hours. I got to get myself practice. But we're still on the Nashville system. As I say, we took 2 songs now. All give thanks unto the Lord and apply the system. And then we added major 7th chords. And I believe, did we get done with the 7th chords? Because I jumped off of that so that I could talk. Okay, we did the 7th chords. The next thing we're going to go to, in this same format, we did the major chords, the major 7, we've done the 7th chord. We're going to add minor chords. They are part of the same family, major, and see what would be a Nashville walk-up from the minor chords. That's a minor. No, that's not. A flat? No, minor. Oh, it is major. Okay. As I say, the Nashville system is new to me. If there is a minor walk-up of the major chords in the Nashville system, I don't know it, so I'm guessing. If there's a chord progression for, I have my own that I've used, which I say fits all of the gospel minor chords. That's my walk-up in my system. I've got to now do some research to see, is there a minor chord rules in the Nashville system? There's the major ones, which is what we covered. I've got to go see now and do my research. I know who to ask. I'm going to ask Chat GPT, is there a minor chord walk-up? In fact, let me do that while I've got you here. I've got Chat GPT running in the background. Let's ask it. Are there, you've got to word these things correctly to this software guru. Does the Nashville Number system have minor chord, I don't want to say structure, I don't want to say path, minor chord numbers, question mark. Okay, got to reset it. I've been offline for a little bit, so it's got to reset it. Verify you're a human. It's the first time I had to do that. Okay, here we go. Does the Nashville Number system, spell system correctly please, use the minor chords? If so, what are they? Talking to Chat GPT. Yes, does use minors. Lowercase Roman numerals are used to represent minor chords, for example. Okay, I know about that. I know about that. Okay, what are they? Here's the chart. Let's see what the chart looks like. Oh, interesting. There is a Nashville system minor chord chart. It does exist. The one is the one major. I see the minor chords, so if it's one, is that right? Two chord in a major key is a minor chord. It will be represented as a okay. And if the chord is in a major key, a major chord, it will be represented. Okay. I'm looking at this. If that's my one chord, if I was in C, the two chord is minor. That's already minor. The three would be minor. Four is a major. Oh, okay. You give me the same. You can't tell me that's the same format. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. I asked for is there a minor chord scale in the number system? Yes, in the Nashville system, it does use minor. Okay, I do know that it uses minors, but is there a scale? All right, so yes, computers perhaps are not as um, there may be a better way to word it. They give you what you're asking for. I said, is there a minor scale in the Nashville system? It says yes, it uses minors. No, I says, is there a minor scale? Is there a minor scale that I can talk to you good people, my viewers, those who are getting some theory understanding from me in these latter days of music? So I'm gonna do some more research, check out a few other sites I know to go to, and especially YouTube, to find the gurus who don't mind showing the same things I'm showing in their genre. I will find out if the Nashville number system has a minor scale, or do we just select in the one a minor chord, in the two a major, in the three a major, in the four a minor, in the five a minor, in the six a major, and in the seven a minor. I don't know. I'll find out though for our next stream. So yes, we are still in the Nashville system. We haven't even. I did show how total praise is in the number system if you take it in its very purest form, but you do have to, for the what the songwriter used, alter the six minor to a major for that chord hills, which goes back into the minor. Four, 1, 4, 5, 5, 1, 6, 5, 1, a sus chord, 5, 1, a major 2, a major 6, major 2, 5, 4, And that is your minor 6 in the F. And so forth. Thank you very much, Invasion, for coming in and for participating. E. Williams, thank you for your participation and your challenging me with some chord names. Even though you spoke a different language, we got that straight. KM, other than scales, what other exercises help with chord change? Learning all the chord names. I think I held up, if you're still here, I held up this booklet that I purchased years ago, which has every chord written down in every key. Some of them are, to me, when I get into the fourth page of chords, I wouldn't use them based upon them being there, but it's nice to know if I should hear something weird, I can use that book as a reference to go and find out, is this the chord that I hear in this song? Other than that, practicing chords in every key. Don't just do this in C. Do it also in D flat or C sharp. There it is. And in E. Major, 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 minor, should be a minor scale. There it is, the minor, major, major, minor, diminished. There it is. I had to think about it and see where the notes were. But do that in every key, and then play around with it. Do the inversions. Just to help build your muscle memory, and then to increase your ear recognition of chords. And then, of course, listen to as many songs as possible and sit and try to apply the Nashville system to it to see whether or not you can find the song within those chords. And if you don't, what chords are there that you could learn that will help you to better understand the structure of chording. I'd have to go with the assumption that everybody that writes a song use the Nashville system first before they go outside of it. Let's see what else I have here. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. It's easy to do that when you're talking so much. Okay, Chas Williams wrote wrote a book about the Nashville system. Keyboard, I did cover that. Beautiful chords, thank you. Okay, sir, trying to learn drop-down method. Okay, thank you. Okay, trying to learn drop. Okay, good. There's a nice 5. More sense. Okay, I think I've got everyone that commented in the chat. Disclaimer, I am not a professional musician. I am a experienced 46-year church musician who cut his teeth learning big band in high school and then applied that learning to practicing on the piano and then learning every particular song that came my way, from hymns, spirituals, anthems, contemporary gospel. The CCM is not a new thing to me. It is a basis built on the number system of chords. Nothing wrong with it, because thousands, again, of songs have been written, not just religious, but pop songs are also written using the same system. I'm just now immersing myself in the knowledge of it, so that when I do talk to it, I can talk with proper musical sense. And as I say, I'm going to do some more digging into other influences of the Nashville system. Does it have a classical chording system to it? I'd like to know that. Information is always good. Sam Tobit, Sound of Joy Music Services. I enjoy and I love what I'm doing as a retired musician. As you can see, I can play for 3 hours and talk for 3 hours and still make some common sense. I got water somewhere over here. I've got another snack upstairs I can eat, because it is dinner time for me here on the East Coast, nearing 8 o'clock. And I really enjoyed having everyone that came in. For those who will be watching the replay, please post your comments, concerns, Like the video. As you like the video, it pushes me up in the YouTube algorithm, and they share it with more people in the music world first, and then in the other world. And subscribe. Sam Tober, Sound of Joy Music Services. As I always say, my company is built on Psalms 101. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Be blessed, and I'll see you the next time on the next stream. Take care. Bye.